Hello again, everyone. I'm very happy to see you here, even though it's not there's not much people, but I believe those who would like to know more about this topic are definitely present. So we'll be talking about Jira Service Management as a key data source for business analytics. Okay, just a few words about me. My name is Anna, as you already know. I'm from AlphaSurf. I'm responsible for, I'm not a technical person, I'm a business person. I'm responsible for strategic business development and processes within AlphaSurf. That's why I will be presenting more from the business part than from the technical part. But anyway, you can ask all questions you need, and my colleagues will help me to answer you. A few words about my company. We are Atlassian marketplace partner for the 3 years already. We have started with the one small 2FS solution. Now we have about 24 apps. We are focused on BI connectors, on integrations and security. And we are also not only the Atlassian vendor, but also Shopify and Magento vendor, where we are present with BI connectors and data export tools, as this is our core competence. So a few words about the agenda. I will first of all give a brief introduction about what is business analytics and what main BI tools are present on the market. Then we'll talk about why Jira Service Management is an important data source, or can be an important data source for the business analytic purposes. We'll then cover the possible exporting options and compare them. And in the final end, I'll show a couple of practical cases and real dashboards built in Power BI based on Jira data. And in the end, you will be able to ask any questions you may have during the presentation. Just a short note that I may use Jira Service Management or Jira Service Desk. I think, and I hope you'll understand what I mean. Jira Service Management or Jira Service Desk, it's the same. And in the major part, I will be talking about BI tools, and I will be talking about Microsoft Power BI as an example. So if you further have any questions, then we'll discuss the rest. As I promised, we'll start with what is business analytics and business intelligence, and why do some companies really need it. As you know, nowadays we have a lot of external challenges, and it's very important for any business to be able to take timely decisions. And for this, we need the input information. And any information is helpful only when we can dissect it or measure it, and then based on it to improve the company output. So for this, we have two tools or two practices which are normally used. The first one is the business analytics, which focuses on developing new insights and understanding of business performance based on actual data. And the BI actually, business intelligence, provides the metrics and input based on the historical data. So the business intelligence is to analyze and to collect the data. And the business analytics is to develop insights and input for the new decisions. The business analytics makes an extensive use of fact-based management to drive decision making, and you should keep in mind that it may be used both for human decisions, which is a normal practice, but also for the fully automated decisions. If we come back to Jira Service Management as a data source, you should keep in mind that at a certain level of service maturity, companies may require quality data for analysis, for reporting, and actual recommendations to improve the services or to serve the customers better, or to achieve a certain service level, or to develop their business in general. And using Jira Service Management as a data source, among with others, can open a lot of opportunities. For example, it's very easy to monitor all service desk projects on a single view for timely decision making, or to keep in the right direction, to understand what's going on in any project and where do we go as a company. It can help the teams to see their actual productivity and their definite impact to the customer or user satisfaction. It is also possible to dive deeper into a certain project or certain issue to adjust timing, workload, or estimation. So this can be also noticed on BI dashboards. And of course, it's possible to measure the service desk team effectiveness and address the pain points. So to be able to notice them on time and to address the definite pain points to avoid them in the future. So as you see, Jira Service Management or Jira Service Desk can consist a lot of useful data for further business analytics, like ticket types, categories, assignees, statuses, resolutions, the work logs and planning, SLA metrics, etc. Currently on the market, there are a lot of a range of various BI tools. The external ones, they have their own strengths and weaknesses and their key features. I will not go deep in details now. I believe you've heard the major part of them. So one of the most popular one is the Microsoft Power BI. And as it's one of the most popular, we'll be talking as an example on this BI tool. Then Tableau software, Google BigQuery or Google Data Studio or Looker. So there is a range of tools, and any business can select the one which is most suitable for its purposes. To be able to analyze Jira Service Management data on the BI tool side, we definitely need a good integration. So we need to find out the way how can we extract Jira data and import it into the BI tool. There are a few options in place. I will briefly cover all of them, and then we'll go a little bit deeper in details on the two major popular ways of integration. So the first one, which comes into everyone's mind, is using the Jira API to extract Jira data and then to import it into the BI tool. We will discuss this solution a little bit in a few minutes. Now I would like only to say that it's a good option, but it's a pretty complicated one, as it needs some development skills. That's why it's not suitable for all the companies. Another option that is also present is to integrate Jira with your BI tool with the default content pack, which is present on the BI tool side. For example, Power BI Cloud offers such an option. It's not working to extract any data you need, but anyway, for the basic purposes, this can be also considered. There is an option of using CSV to export data from Jira. This can be an option for those who would like to build a report one time, or who is not interested in constant integration, because this doesn't give an opportunity to monitor the history data, because you download the data as a file, and that's and then you download another one, and this is how it works. So, and in the meantime, it's also has some limits on the data range export. So you should consider this option attentively before selecting it. One thing that I cannot mention here is the most recent one. Maybe someone of you has heard about this, that in the beginning of this year, Atlassian announced the Atlassian Data Lake. It's in the beta version now. In the beginning of the year, they actively invited users to join the beta stage. Now the application is closed, and I can say that there are no recent news about how it goes further. So it's not a well-prepared decision, a well-prepared solution, a ready one yet. But we are waiting for the news from Atlassian, and maybe they will introduce one more really interesting way of integration of Jira with BI tools. Currently, on the beta version, it was present for Jira software only, and on several plans, if I'm not mistaken, on Premium and Enterprise. Anyway, I believe till the end of the year, Atlassian will come up with some news on this, and we can then consider this option as well. And the last thing on how to integrate Jira is to use the Ready solution, a third-party plugin or add-on from the marketplace. And this is actually what we do as a vendor. We offer applications to integrate Jira with the Microsoft Power BI, with Tableau, and Google BigQuery. So the decision is always on the company side to which option to select, and the proper option will depend on the needs of export and how often the company would like to have the actual data, how many data is needed, which BI tool is used. So it's up to the company to consider which of the mentioned options will fit best. After the integration is done, there are a few tips which I'd like to mention for Jira users before starting the data export from our experience working with customers. The first thing that I'd like to mention is that you need to check the access permission for certain user or projects, because when you would like to export any data, you need to be sure that you do have permission to export it in terms of physical ability, so you will see this data. And on the other hand, that this data are relevant for you and you have enough permissions in Jira to get all the data you need to calculate all KPIs or to build the dashboards you need. So mind the permissions. The second advice would be to define the needed fields. So you need to think more or less exactly which information you'd like to export and which Jira fields or tables you need for further report building, because this may help to optimize the data volume. It's not always a good and intelligent solution to export all possible data and then to work with it, because it can be millions of records, and that can take some time, regardless the option which you take. The third advice would be to check the field source. What is meant here is that you are advised to pay attention to the fields, whether they are standard Jira fields, Jira Service Management fields, or custom fields, or maybe it's the fields that you need are the third-party apps fields. And this is important because sometimes the apps of third-party vendors have really very native interface, and you may not even know that it's an app. You may think that it's a standard field, and sometimes not all ways of integration and exporting data support the export from third-party add-ons. That's why it's important. And the last advice to remember about is that you should mind the languages and writing systems, because sometimes we have Jira users from all over the world, and we have international companies that are using Jira in multiple locations. And sometimes they're using, they're making input in the custom fields in the local language or whatever. So this can cause some problems when building data models with data transformation. So you should pay attention to this advice to be well prepared. That's all. As promised, we will take a look at the process of Jira API export. As I mentioned, it's considered to be a more complicated option, but anyway, this is how the whole process line looks like and how the process works. On the first step, it is kindly advised to understand what data do. So you need to understand what data do you need, as I mentioned before. And on the first step, you need to understand whether this data is available from Jira REST API. For example, if it's third-party add-ons, you need to consider whether this data is available for Jira REST API, or do you need the plugins API for this? So to identify the availability of data that you need. After you've done this, you go to building, you come to building a custom solution. So you need to develop this. And this is the point where you need to allocate or involve some resources on this. On the next step, you need to integrate it to build the integration. So you will check if additional Power BI integration settings are required. After it's done, you can import data to Power BI and build the necessary dashboards. After you've done it and you've made sure that everything works correctly, you need to train your team of business analysts or other Jira users that need this, to train your team to use this custom solution. And in the final end, you should always remember that any custom solution needs support on or improvement. And the normal use cases that can happen. So what support does this solution needs? For example, to add some other fields for export or to transform the data in another way. So it's pretty good to remember that the work doesn't stop after you've developed it. Anyway, in any case, it will need some support. As you see, it's a little bit, it seems complicated. And if we take the general, it's hard to estimate because it depends on the complexity of the solution that is developed with Jira REST API. But anyway, it will not take less than 3 weeks to develop it. On the other hand, for companies which are not ready to go this way, to go into the custom development, they can use the ready solution. So, and here is where our apps can be really helpful. This is one of our apps which can be used for Microsoft Power BI. It's Power BI Connector for Jira. This is how it looks like on the Atlassian marketplace. It can be installed directly from there or within your Jira instance in the Manage App section. It has 3 key features, and one of them is it's pretty easy to use. So you don't need to have any additional skills to start or to export the data. It has a lot of features to customize your export, starting from filters to data selection, to export only the necessary data, but also to, for example, to manage the permissions, to be able that the data is secure, to share the connectors with other users, etc. And one of the other things that is really helpful, and it was developed based on the customer requests, that we support a wide range of data for export, like not only Jira tables and fields, but custom fields, history, tempo timesheets, tempo planner, etc. So we support normal Jira data, custom fields, and also the third-party apps. And using the application, the process is a little bit simpler. In the very beginning, of course, you need to install the connector on your Jira instance. You need to go to the navigation menu and create a data source, select the necessary data, and the application will generate a URL for this data source, for the data set. You need to copy it and then paste it in the data feed and get data section in your Power BI desktop. And after that, the data will be loaded into the Power BI, and you will be able to work with it and to build the necessary reports. In this case, the support and new features implementation is on the vendor side. So on the company side is only the usage of the application left. So if we sum up, these 2 features, I cannot say that one of them is good and the other one is bad. It's not true. So the options which we just covered are just different, and they can cover the different customer needs. Jira REST API is more complicated as it requires some additional development, that API and Jira and Power BI skills. And from this perspective, getting expert rights is not trivial. But it's really a perfect option for the companies which have a specific and sophisticated custom solutions and analytic requests. In this perspective, Jira REST API provides a variety of possibilities for them to build exactly what they need. Of course, it requires some resources for implementation and support, but a part of resources that will be involved in this project, the solution will stay free of charge. So the company has developed it once and then it supports it, and that's it. On the other hand, the companies who are interested in using a ready solution, it's pretty easy to start using the application because no additional skills are required. There is a vendor support in place, as I mentioned, with issues or adding tables or constant updates. So the solution stays up to date without any efforts from the customer side. A wide range of data can be exported. So the major requests for data export can be covered with this app, but on the other hand, you need to pay for it. So as I mentioned, these solutions are different. So, and it's up to the customer to decide which option fits best according to the exporting request and exporting needs. As I said, there are several BI tools on the market, and as for our apps, we offer the similar solutions for Microsoft Power BI, for Tableau, and for BigQuery. So if you are considering using one of these BI tools, you can be sure that the connectors are in place, and you will be able, if you select the ready solution, you will be able to easily integrate them. So why it's important to monitor Jira Service Management data, and what do normally people monitor with this data? So it's an answer to the question why to integrate it and why to do it on the BI side. First of all, of course, for Jira Service Management, the first option is to improve the service level. The customers are, the companies are aimed at improving service level. That's why more often they measure the following things: the average speed of answer, time to resolution expected, and time to resolution actual. And this can be monitored on the BI side in terms of projects, software assignees, ticket types, priorities, etc. On the other hand, using and monitoring the Jira Service Management data allows to adjust business processes and IT processes. For example, you can have understanding of the breakage times of software outage, seasonal loads, etc. And this can provide useful data what needs to be adjusted inside the company in terms of processes or even maybe hardware. And of course, we cannot omit the cost management. Because evaluating the cost of staff time and the resources by incident or over time, it reveals problem areas where service desk teams might be overspending money, or this enables leadership to look for solutions to meet budgets. So generally, as you see, there are a lot of things you can monitor on the BI side using the Jira Service Management data. And now I will give you a couple of examples how it can look like. For example, you can see the Jira Service Management dashboard where for the certain project within the certain period, we can see the total issues created, the closed issues. We can see which priority issue has each part. We can see, for example, which priority issues were closed more. What is the average time for resolution? Which statuses do the issues in the open issues have, and the cumulative flow of the created issues within period. So this is an important. This can be an important report for Jira Service Desk, not Jira, but for Service Desk team lead to be able to see how we are on SLA. For example, do we meet the targets on average time to resolution in hours within the ticket priority? Which part of the tickets are already closed, and which part is still in progress? And do we work most on the support requests, or do we fix bugs more, or do we have requests for the new features? As you see here, for example, the major part is the support request, which is normal. But if the major part is bugs, this means that the core product or the team, so the product to which the requests are related to, needs some improvement in terms of the product features. So this is the actual report built for one of our customers, but it's of course it's on the test data. Another example which I'd like to share with you is one of the key KPIs is the tent resolution, and we always have targets and have actual results, and it's always important to monitor whether we are in line with the targets or not. And for example, here we see within by assignee who is meeting their resolution time, who is underperforming and overperforming, and we can go deeply into the assignees' tasks and see where the problems are. So if we have only one, for example, issue which is too overdue, or is it in average for all of them? So it's a good option to see, to go deeper then with the person and to find out what are the reasons for this. At the same time, we can see within the types the same, so time to resolution, actual, and target, and within the priority. And we here that we can see that for the high priority issues, for example, we meet the target, and for the medium priority, we have some room for improvement. So this is also an important report that can help to service desk teams to improve their work and their performance. So we are coming to an end, and some key takeaways from me, which I'd like you to remember after you leave today's community event, is first of all, to remember that recently the world changes too fast, and we have a lot of external challenges. That's why implementing, adapting, or improving your BI processes is important for any company and any business. As a leading software, Jira and Jira Service Management have become an important data source for business analysis and decision making, and I hope my presentation gave you a general overview why it is so. And adding Jira Service Management as a data source does widen your business data landscape, and it's important to do this, and you only need to consider the possible options and to select the most suitable one which will fit your demand best. From my side, some gifts, some gifts that I can give you for being here with me today is that, of course, feel free to book a free demo to be able to see all the features of the applications live. So the permission setting schemes, the data access, the possibilities of export and all the stuff. And of course, for spending evening with us, you can request a discount directly. So feel free to reach out to me if you come to use the ready decision, and you can try any of our apps for free, of course, on the marketplace. And if you come to the purchase, feel free to reach out to me to ask for a discount, and just remind me that I've been there in ACE Cologne. Could you please give me the promised discount, and I will do this for you. Here are my contacts. I believe I will share the slide then, in order you could have it at hand. And now I'm pretty open to answer your questions.